All right, everybody, thank you for joining me for this week's episode of the Abandoned Upstate Podcast. Today we have Asbestos Gypsy from Instagram. Are we talking about Abandoned 716 today?
Oh, please do. That's my baby.
So she's part of the Abandoned 716 group. We are actually in the 716 today in a gorgeous, gorgeous church here. So I've been here a couple times. Did you ever look up any of the history of this place specifically?
I have not, actually.
So one interesting thing that I always loved about this church when I looked it up was the original church group. I don't know church terms. Church following folk. They couldn't afford the church, so they built a basement and then put a roof on the basement and met here for like 10 or 15 years. And then had the church built eventually and then started worship here.
Wow, that's incredible. That's insane. I had no idea. Basement church, but I've seen a lot of basement churches in my day. You?
I mean, yeah, there's been a couple here or there. So I think we're definitely in a blessed area when it comes to churches. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything half as good as this at home.
Oh, I've been to your neck of the woods a few times, and I mean, there are some beautiful places out there. I think it's some of my favorite street artists come from there.
I agree. Definitely, there's a lot of good graffiti, and there's a couple really good spots that are just fantastically filled with graffiti. Have you been up to Cobb's Hill, the water reservoir?
Oh my God, yes, so gorgeous.
That is one that I love for like 12 out of 10, like just like the best quality artwork. So
beautiful.
I'm not sure what we can see on camera here. There's some, we'll call them tags.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
specifically call anything art. Maybe.
I wouldn't say it's good. Well, it's not. Well, I think it's meaningful. There's a tag over there that says they hated on the team, but we still won.
I don't know what that means.
It means ha.
Like, were we not supposed to get in here, or?
No.
I want to know what this molecule drawings are.
Same. Okay, so that's like ON. So oxygen and nitrogen.
We're going to have to go home and...
Maybe not.
I'll take a picture of it. I'll have to look it up.
Certainly not a chemist.
We'll add it to the podcast. It's probably like serotonin or something silly.
It probably is. And like, THC. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not.
Math. I don't know the neighborhood that we're in.
Oh, yeah.
So we started out this morning trying to get into a different church, which did not quite go as well. But I think we lucked out better. This one's quite gorgeous. The hints of blue is like always what does it for me here. The
gold and the silver too, it accents that blue so perfectly. It's so pretty.
So what's your like favorite kind of exploring places?
You know, I've tried to put some thought into that because we all have our thing, right? But I just like beautiful, and I happen to find decay quite beautiful. So really, as long as I'm in a place and it's kind of fallen down and it's kind of neglected and you know, it's grand, I'm for it.
I can appreciate that. So you're not like a big fan of the freshy trains, the stuff that's like technically closed, but like, you know, that kind of gray area.
You know, I think I never was into the freshy train. I don't know if I ever rode it because I love to explore. And if I jump on a freshy train, what am I exploring?
Yeah, I think that's a difficult one. You know, places like the mall that was in Rochester that's now been repurposed. That one was like cool, but like other than a layer of dust and a couple like leaky water spots, like it wasn't pretty.
You know, and that's it. And it's in the eye of the beholder, you know, like, so beauty is very subjective, but I do think, you know, when things get so popular, it is beautiful, but you see every square inch of that building before you even walk in. You know the POE, you know everything about it, you know where to park, you know, like when the fucking cops patrol, you know everything about this location. And like, that's not exploring, that's social media.
No, you know what? I absolutely love that. I think some of my favorite days are like the biggest days where I've like striked out a lot or just spent a bunch of time in the car driving around. Like the actual getting out and exploring bit is like, that's half the battle. Like showing up and just walking in through an open door is not, it takes a lot of the fun away.
I mean, I love a good open door. You never, you know, you walk up to this thing and you're like, fuck, I really don't want to climb to the roof. And the door just opens. Yes. Like that's a good fucking day. I don't care. But it's like, you know, you found the place and like you pined over Google Maps and you looked up the history and you found yourself in some weird corner of the web and you found documents and you're like, I found documents and it's what?
That's actually a great one. I don't know that anybody's brought that up on the podcast yet. I love when I'm researching and I'm able to like find historical pictures or
blueprints, even like the total history. Like, oh,
yeah, it's
so good.
It's lucky how many books have been digitized because that's been a decent source of knowledge for
Congress. Actually, the Library of Congress is beautiful on history. It's strange but true.
I'm gonna have to go home and look that one up. That's
check
not
that on
that's
out.
not a tool that I've used.
Yeah, that's open knowledge. Everybody go check out Congress.
No, that's great. I think we've definitely slowly started like to compile a list and find out like some people use different tools that I hadn't quite thought about. I think we all use Google Maps. Like that's like 101. I recently took a trip out to the Midwest and there was like nothing pin-wise. I asked around a couple of friends and like there was nothing. So I hopped on Google Maps, started checking out, pinning a bunch of spots, and ended up making out sizably well to some places I don't know that anybody else has seen. So
that's so wonderful. That's exploring. And I'm happy for you. I'm glad you had that.
It was so, after spending like, 2 weeks looking at Google Maps, it was so weird, like finally driving through the town that I'd already like street viewed myself all the way through.
Yes, being here. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so great.
A little bit of familiarity.
Yo, that's so wonderful. I'm really happy you had that. Midwest I've never been out that way. I just like pretty East Coast, really hard in Rust Belt area. But like, I'd love to check that out. There's some cool ghost towns out there.
We're overly lucky. I mean, specifically just being in the 716, we are above and beyond blessed in just what there is, like variety-wise, taste-wise, character, age. Like there's a lot more. I think the Midwest is fantastic. I found some gorgeous houses, which I do love, but there's not this.
Yes.
There's not this. That's just straight up. So.
Yeah, you can't beat Buffalo architecture. I mean, I'm so in love with it. I want to do everything for it. I hope one day to do things for it. I'm like actively working on my life in order to make Buffalo architecture a part of it.
Oh, I think that's huge. I was just driving in today and I noticed I'm going to assume it was a school. I don't know, it was on the highway, but like I noticed a beautiful Art Deco building that I hadn't realized before. And I was just like, damn.
A nice building.
It really is. There's just so much character and so much class that is just, unsurpassed here. I am definitely in love with Buffalo for that reason.
My aunt she lives in Colorado. She's born in Buffalo, lives in Colorado, and I posted a picture of the Gratuity building in Buffalo, and there's all these beautiful ornate carvings in it. And she's like, "Where's that from? Where did you go to see that?" And I'm like, "Buffalo. I went to Buffalo because we're beautiful. Like we have some gorgeous architecture."
Yeah, I definitely think being in love with your own city is like, it's romantic.
It's huge. It's everything. Like if you don't like where you're at, is that even home?
Right. You should spray paint that on the wall here.
Oh, it would be perfect with that other tag. About as artsy as that too, with the spray paint.
My biggest problem with tags, like they just take away from the place. So like,
can I call out somebody?
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck them.
Can I?
Yeah.
Crate. You're a piece of shit, dude.
Oh, fucking Crate. I don't know who you are, but I'm sure I've seen one of your shitty tags somewhere then.
Bro, he covered this, the only thing beautiful, I can't remember the name of the church right now, and it just slipped my tongue. It's torn down now, so it doesn't even matter. But while you were there, you chose to tag over a beautiful mural. And even if you're not religious, like, it was a fucking gorgeous mural. And you had, like, no class. Be classy about it, Crate. Be classy.
Yeah, I'm 100% with that. Actually, last week's podcast, when I was talking with John, that was one big thing. Like, art is wonderful, but also taking away from a place or the historical significance, or just being, I feel like rude. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not religious at all.
Right.
But
same.
I don't think, I think there's just like a certain level of class. So
there is.
And there's a lot of great artists who do respect it. So fuck you, Crate.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like, and I'm calling him out just because I thought his tag sucked. If it was good, you were still practicing and you fucking know it. So like, if it was good, it would have been a different story. But it's like, people will be people, right? Like, I was in the Catskills the other day and it was so gorgeous. And we happened to be in with a whole bunch of rando explorers from all over around the coast, really. And, everybody, hey. But then you just hear breaking. And, like, there's not a fucking pane of glass left.
Right.
What is breaking? And then you hear more and more, and, like, some little shits are in there, like, tossing things around. And, you're like, hey, grow up. And they're like, oh, you're fucking old and whatever, fuck you.
I mean, I don't.
So disrespectful.
I don't feel that old, but like, I definitely think we're in a different class, different age group. I think we mentioned that before this started. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a whole new class of douchebags out there. So
but then there's some good ones too. Like the new gen photographers coming in. Like when I first started exploring, it was not about the photography. My photography was documented to keep track of where I went.
Right.
Because I couldn't. Like, I think the new gen is coming in strong. They're working on it. I've seen their photographs.
I mean, there's some ballsy moves that
Right. You guys, watch out.
I'm not, whew.
You're not wrong, though.
There's definitely some people I feel like that have showed me up at a couple spots. I didn't have the balls to pull off myself. So good for you.
Kudos, guys. That's great.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll give them props for that, but it's definitely a little bit different. Where is this a place you feel comfortable talking about? Where did you go that you ran into a bunch of other people? Because I haven't really had that happen to me before. I've only met people exploring 2 or 3 times.
Well, honestly, this place there's not, like I said, not a pane of glass left, so I'm not worried. It was in the Nevele.
We talk about that place all the time.
Oh, okay.
Only because it went from beautiful to fucked in 18 months maybe. So I went with the Up Kid. We went back in September. I want to say September of 2018. And then I went the following summer, and I left. I was like, after an hour, I was like, all right, well, apparently I didn't miss much because it was bad. And then now when I see pictures, it's shot. Actually, the Up Kid and we did a comparison of the ski lodge because when I had went, probably actually about the same time you went back in the spring or whatever, I missed it. I don't know how the fuck I missed the ski lodge. Up on the hill?
Stop it. I mean, we hit up so many places that day. That was probably like our 4th resort that day. And we were going from early. So like, I just was probably lazy.
Did you do that? Did you do the Catskills on a day trip or did you go down for the weekend?
Well, this time we did go down for the weekend. The last time it was a shorter duration. So we were jam packing.
That's a day trip, like in half.
Yeah,
so.
It was hardcore. We just went.
Do you usually do like overnights when you go exploring?
When we're out of town, hell yeah. I mean, make a thing of it.
Like, what's your like threshold? Like, after so many hours of driving, do you deem it like worthy to stay overnight?
What does that mean?
Like,
worthy of stopping. So my boot drives, and my boot is my favorite POE. You guys don't know him, but he's wonderful. He's actually OG Urbex. You'll never know my boot, but my boot does my driving, and he doesn't know what stop means.
I can respect that. There's definitely a nice class of older explorers. It's funny, like I'll mention something, and then you're like, oh yeah, before it was even a spot, like you know what I mean. So I can
I love that though.
I can definitely respect that. The drives are the hustle. I did a return trip where I woke up in St. Paul and Minnesota and drove home, and then got up and went to work in the morning, and like that was a trip and a half.
I don't know about working after that. You got to give yourself a little love.
I was delirious the next day. I don't think I got home until midnight. I mean, I left there at like 5 a.m. and then got home at like midnight. It was a ridiculous trip. 10 out of 10 worth it though.
That's amazing. See, that's passion. That's love. You can't fake that.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
Beautiful.
Love is a good word to describe
it.
Love. I think this hobby has definitely brought like a lot of cool people in my life.
Oh.
We've been, it's funny because I thought about it. I was like, I wanted to do Wonder Bread. And I thought about it. I thought this would be cool to do on the roof, but like that's a whole lot of stairs. But like, yeah, I mean, it's been 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? And then I don't think we explored necessarily a ton, but it's nice to keep up and interact with our friends. So this is a pretty group of people. So.
I think it's lucky. I was never a social butterfly. I started Abandoned 716 like in 2009, 10, and I was just on there to keep track of where I went, like I said, and it was just a cool place to keep track of my photos. And then it started like getting more popular, and for me, like 1,000 likes in a day was like, oh my God, this is shitty photography. I just need to know where I was going. Fuck, like what am I gonna do with this? Like what can I make it? So I was like, oh, well, I'll make an Abandoned 716, fuck it. And then this kid started messaging me and commenting and liking. We should go out, we should go explore, we should go out, we should go explore. I don't know who you are, kid, but I don't know if I can explore with anybody else. So finally one day he broke me down, and it was the best day because that's how I met the Up Kid.
Yeah.
I just couldn't think that day of, fuck it, Up Kid, okay, let's go. And I'm so thankful. We had such a good explorer, and through him, he taught me how to be a social butterfly in Urbex, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like so thankful for it. So many great people.
Just real quick, Abandoned 716, that's on Facebook specifically?
Facebook, and I mean, yeah, I think just primarily Facebook.
Okay, so make sure to go check that out on Facebook. They've been a bunch of great places. And I love that it's a group effort. I like seeing a different
Free
collaboration.
people.
Yeah, I like seeing a different collaboration or different angles. So that's definitely like a great community that you've built with that for sure. So
I'm so proud.
And the Upkid, he's going to be on here. I'm half tempted to just go out to the cabin to get him on, as much as I want to keep doing these in abandoned places.
But that's, I mean, he thrives there. And like on Peeper too, he was our newest Abandoned 716 member, and like it was he's so wonderful. You got to have him on too. His photography is insane. They're both like their history, their knowledge that they dig up, and they're so respectful of every location they meet. So they're such good humans. I'm really thankful to have met them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy that we were able to meet up. So I met you through the Upkid. I want to say it was UER.
Of course you did. Everybody, because Upkid got me so he's so great.
He's so social.
I love
for sure.
you, Up, for sure.
So no, he's definitely somebody I want to have on here. He's a really good storyteller for one.
Oh, great.
I don't think we've ever I'm sure I've heard the same story twice, but I enjoy it every time. So.
Yeah, he's got a lot of them. It's, I mean, talk about traveled.
Yeah.
Talk about travel.
Well, so I know, definitely travels a lot. How long have you been doing this?
I don't even know. I mean, I think heavily for the past at least 13, 14 years, really heavily.
Okay. Long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, we were kids, and at first, I mean, we were ninjas. Like I said, it wasn't about the photography. It was nighttime explorers. It was... Actually, my boot and I, one of our first dates, I was in high heels and we were in the falls, and he was like, we were just driving down the ghetto, and I was like, I'm sorry, but it kind of is. And we drove past this shitty, no, it wasn't beautiful. It was a shitty ass fire hall thing that is now, I think, demolished or repurposed. I think it's demolished. And there's a hole in the wall, and I was like, oh, I love abandoned buildings. And he's like, me too. So we just tromped on in. I had a Nokia track phone as our flashlight. Like, it was, it was so stupid. But it's like, once you love abandonment, you just love it, and you're going in. Like,
yeah, no, that's respectful.
We're going in.
I carry a change of clothes in the car.
So smart.
Because you just never know when you need to
So
stop
smart.
whatever you're doing and go check something out.
Thank you. Actually, I might consider an abandonment survival pack in my trunk, because that is common.
Oh God, I have
flip flops and glass sucks.
I've got a family-sized first aid kit.
Oh well, yeah, you gotta have.
So I got toilet paper. I got a whole exploring kit, because you just never know.
That's fair though. You gotta have the goods. You're not wrong.
It's so hard to concentrate exploring when you have to go to the bathroom. I can't.
Well, nobody does. See, that's it. Well, nobody has to worry. You walk in, you go pee, you find a dark corner. Everybody has probably marked every building you've ever been in.
I always try to be respectful, and even if I know, I always try to find what was the bathroom.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. Oh, that's beautiful.
So I try to be just pissing in the wall, but I'm trying to be respectful while doing it.
Right, though. You're not. It's so lucky. Yeah, mine is, for women, it gets a little bit more terrifying. You don't want to sit on a rusty nail.
Oh, I understand that. I mean,
it's scary out there.
Used a couple of abandoned toilets. The worst one, it was the winter, I don't know, 2016 maybe, and I was in a hospital, and it was winter, it was January.
So cold.
It was a porcelain toilet.
Oh my God, I can't imagine. Crystally.
It was terrible.
I wouldn't have even. No.
I mean, because it was like a mile walk back to the car, and I couldn't. There was no way I was going to do that and then drive somewhere and then go back.
You're not wrong. Yeah, you do what you got to do, but that gets rough.
Yeah, so I now plan. I try to if I'm going on a big trip, I'll try to plan to eat a little bit better.
Oh, that's
beforehand.
That's super smart though, and I think we all start thinking about
that. That's
a
pro tip, guys.
Yeah, that really is though. I mean, trail mix and stuff. You get hungry in these places, and
I think I'm the worst, and I already saw that you brought a water bottle. I'm the worst. I will be dying of thirst just licking.
Are you dying of thirst? I can open my thingy up and give you a little sip.
I'm good. This is more like adventure time, when you're hustling. So, and I'm just licking the bottom of the water bottle when I get back to my car.
Yes.
So,
that's I get that extreme.
The asbestos parches my mouth.
Extreme thirst that comes with it. Oh my God, it gets so bad. Actually, the one time we, I think it was just Upkid and I, we were out exploring on Memorial Day weekend, and it happened to be 90 degrees. It was so hot. And we walk into this building locally, and all you hear is ka-tink, 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 slam. And we're like, oh, okay, that's different. And we like peeked the corner and there's a freaking truck inside the place. And the dude's just away and sawing off and scrapping away. And I mean, there's nothing left of this building. It's not, I mean, it's of historical importance, but it's already well past anything. So we were like, and we just did our thing or whatever. But on our way back, he was like dying. So the up kid ended up giving him like a bottle of water and was like, "Here, bud, like please freaking hydrate." And I always like things like that. Like like, do you leave things for people? Do you do things like that randomly?
No, I can't say that. I don't think I've ever left.
Like, you ever see a squatter and you're like you see his setup and you're there and you're like.
I don't know, but I do usually if I'm pretty sure somebody's living there, I usually just kind of wiggle my way out
because
that's
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean that person had like a rough time. So one, damn it, keep talking about the up kid. We were on a trip in Albany.
I'm sorry.
And I can bleep that out. So we were on a trip in Albany, and we're like meandering through a church, kind of similar, kind of gorgeous, big like this, and like we're in the basement, and then there's like all of somebody just chilling on their mattress down there, and like first off, why do you not live up here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
like,
I mean, it's probably drafty at some point, so.
But he's like, "Hey, man, you want to smoke?" He's like, "You need any money?" Like, he was like the nicest person ever. Like, just, you know.
Yeah.
And then he nicely asked permission. He's like, "Do you mind if we poke around upstairs?" And the guy was like, "Nah." So.
Well, that's what it's about sometimes. You know, you do run into some people, and you just got to be human.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Anybody who's down on their luck living in a building, like, that's just fucked.
Right. So. Right. Yeah, that's some people, I mean, I've seen some pretty good setups, though. Like, the one time I walked into a basement, and it was like a room within a room, and it was very well done. And I was just like, if you're going to be down on your luck, you know, and you're making the best of it. And, like, there was a shaving kit and everything. Like, I mean, I didn't poke around because it's not my space, but it was somebody that was trying. And
right.
it was really nice to see that even though they were down, they're still waking up every single day, like, trying.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big thing for anybody listening, like morals wise. Like, I've never fucked with somebody set up like that. Like, you know, they're having a rough time. Like, yeah, absolutely, that's a big deal. So, I'm almost surprised. Like, I haven't run into more people around here in some of these places. Like, there's some legitimately nice-ish abodes you could call home. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so,
yeah, there's
versus living under a bridge.
True story.
You know what I mean? So I
story.
definitely think as preachy as I am right now, I do hate when somebody comments on Facebook like this should be turned into veteran housing.
Well, I mean, there's a whole plethora of things wrong with everything that you just said, but I hate to preach as well.
Yeah. So that one just it's just aggravating to get those same 4 or 5 comments like that on social media. So if you're listening,
where is it?
Where? Oh my God.
Where is it? Where is it?
I have that filtered out. I don't know about on Facebook, but I know on Instagram, I have that filtered out. So if you just say, "Where is this?" ? Your comment never makes it to my page.
Oh, thank you for teaching me new things.
Yep, that's a big one. Well, I do it too sometimes. I've been on the TikTok trend a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
But I also hate everything that comes along with that. So before I post anything, I specifically blacklist the city that it's in, the name of the place, a road, or like anything. So that way, like anybody who tries to comment anything on it, like your comment just doesn't show up.
That's so wonderful. I love that that's a feature.
Yeah, that's like the only way I was able to like justify kind of hopping on some of the social media trades is by like also still just trying to do my job to protect the places because I mean this place is relatively untouched, but it could get a lot worse in a week if we just said the name of the place. So I
learned a really hard lesson on that.
We can't just make the face now. We have to talk about it.
So I was early into social media, and I didn't realize that Urbex community was really a big thing, and people were snoopy, and everything was whatever, or that people even cared. So I posted a picture of this house, and it was a beautiful house, very freshly abandoned, gorgeous woodwork inside, Niagara County house, and I posted the name of the road. I called it Name of the Road House. And I mean, this was a very, very many moons ago. And within the year, I had to drive past the freaking thing every day. I just watched it, like paint after paint smash, tag go on it, shit start getting pulled off, things start getting worse, until eventually it had to be demolished like a year later.
Holy
because
shit.
It just got wrecked. I did that. I feel I learned the hardest lesson.
Well, I mean, at least it was a house.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a beautiful, like, you know.
But yeah, no, I forgive you for that.
But it was a lesson.
We all learn. we all learn a little bit on that one.
Hard.
So I like posting houses more so because I feel more confident that somebody else isn't going to find it.
Same.
But I definitely can understand. I always have trouble naming houses. Like I don't know what to name it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some cool stuff. I mean, I love house exploring. It's interesting going through someone else's like whole entire existence sometimes.
Yeah, no,
it's weird.
It's very personable.
Yeah, it is.
To like poke around, and I was in a house in I don't know where I was. I was in Michigan. I think honestly I was in Michigan and found like this really cool cookbook. And had like this cool poem and everything in it. So like it's like I don't know. It's like cool finding
so
like
beautiful.
And it's like old, like mad old. There wasn't a date, but like it was old. Like it was in cursive. For those of you who don't know what that is.
So nice, most beautiful writing on earth.
Yeah, you know
that you can't read.
it is satisfying to look at for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes you like 5 minutes to read just the postcard, and you're like, oh, I swear I know this.
Right. I've never seen any cursive graffiti, so.
Oh yeah, right. Good point.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I do appreciate comical graffiti. There's a school that's got spray painted "fuck the birds."
Oh,
like,
well.
As much as I hate that one, it's a gym just ridiculous amount of birds. So like,
it's the worst.
I appreciate when there's like a little bit of comedy like roped in with it because I can't help but to smile when I see it.
That's so true. Like that's one of my faves. It just cracks me up. Good placement.
So
you're not wrong. So not wrong.
So what do you? So you said you leave things for people. Do you take things from places?
I have taken things from places. Absolutely. I try not to take anything that would be noticed. Now, if you look at this grand church behind us, there is some beautiful religious art. And I just want to like own it and hug it and take it with me and pry it off the wall. But I would never, like you just can't screw with the integrity and the structure and the history of the building. So little things that have already fallen off, things that have been neglected somewhere, mostly paperwork. Like I'm a snoop. I'm such a snoop.
So I think that would fall the trinket category. You're fine with anything that's small, could fit in your backpack.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what the largest thing I've walked out with.
I have a couple like floor tiles, a couple like random things, but I don't have anything.
Coffin-shaped guitar case.
Okay, well that's actually pretty legit and mildly spooky, so I could.
Yes, it was terrible. It was full of cat pee and mold. I think it wasn't salvageable. I don't know. It was terrible.
Is it something you? There's been quite a few things that I've like started to take and then changed my mind and then just, placed it there back on the way out.
I mean, you just leave it behind there. But there's so many like random things like. You know, these houses especially, you walk into a house and like what a moral dilemma you're faced with. The thing is caving in. It hasn't seen a person, and you know it hasn't because you just cleared out like old cobwebs. And it's just like you see something there and you're like, you're just going to rot in the boards.
So when I first started exploring, I was 100% no, like don't take anything. You know, and then your morals loosen up a little bit. But there was a house, I called it the Jumanji house. A, there was vines growing in the windows.
Oh my God, so beautiful.
And then B, there was like a 1996 copy of Jumanji there. So like it was just perfect. Nice. And beautiful house. I'd actually grown up in the area, so I'd actually like known about it for a while. So it was nice when I got into the hobby heavy. I was like, I'm going to make a special trip down. Gorgeous house, 20s. I don't know actual furniture age.
Farm house.
But nice, gorgeous, like wooden archback couch and leather what are those called? Like chests, like leather storage chests.
Dang.
Gorgeous house. Swing back down a couple months later, and there's just a backhoe just.
Oh.
And I was like, that's terrible. Like
it's that moral dilemma.
So that's kind of like what started changing my mind. I was like, well, shit. I would have. The couch was gorgeous. The chest was gorgeous. Like I'm sure it was worth some money too. So now I'm kind of like I'm much more open to the idea of you taking it before somebody else does, or before it gets trashed or ruined or anything like that.
It's just such a hard. It's such a hard thing to do though because like. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's a judgment call. You just make the judgment call.
Yeah, it's tough.
You try not to be a greedy fuck, but you just also know that this is probably all going to be lost one day, including the shit you just collected from you.
Right. Well,
your shit's going to be lost one day.
It's not...
Unless you have kids and it passes on, whatever.
Kids, I'm leaving you my abandoned chest.
Here's all the abandonment. You better keep it and hold it close.
Yeah, I think it's definitely it's a tough call. You know, and then there's other places I go. You know, I've been in houses that have like a nicer washer and dryer than I have, and I'm like, the fuck is like the fuck?
You're not wrong. This is the worst.
So it's definitely like it's a weird it's a weird hobby when it comes to like morals and like yeah. If I just want to back my truck down the driveway. Like there's a lawnmower, there's a rototiller, there's a washer, there's a dryer. Like I don't know. Like I'm not stealing it to sell it. Like I'm stealing it because I kind of need it.
Right. And nobody cares about it. Nobody knows it's fucking there.
Right.
It's just you can tell.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
It is. But I don't know if I would be ballsy enough to backhoe out a washer and dryer.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I would need help. There would need to be a dolly. I'm sure it'd make some noise. I don't know.
My boot's over there nodding, like, please.
Yeah, you want to? We'll go get. It's red, man. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
We'll get it. So.
That's amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far. Little things.
Yeah, well, that's why I like houses because there's still stuff left in them. So.
I found this like horribly tragic thing once, and I just couldn't help but take it. And I'm glad I did because the house got demoed, and it was a piece of artwork on the wall, and it happened to be a suicide house. And you know, there was a lot of poems. Like he had these books that were like just filled with poetry and stories that were really wrecking. They were like soul crushing. But on his wall hung a piece of work he had done where half of his face was like this covered, like this shadow figure, and the other side was like a skeleton hand like covering the rest of his shadow face. It was super deep, and like I don't know, I'll have to find a picture. I have it, I just haven't put it on the wall yet because I think it's like really spooky.
Yeah.
But for some reason I couldn't let his self sit in that house any longer, so I took it with me.
Huh. So I'm assuming it's a suicide house. I'm assuming he killed himself in the house.
Oh yeah.
I'm
pretty I mean, it was pretty it was pretty evident everywhere. Like,
huh. That must have been a very interesting to explore, to say the least.
Right on.
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, I think that's interesting. I mean, obviously, mental health is a big issue and concern these days. So, I mean, I think that's pretty interesting that you like took that and like now his memory lives on with you, even if not with somebody else. So, I can appreciate that. That is pretty. I always say I'm romantic about exploring. It's like,
but you're so right. Like when you said that earlier in this chat, like I couldn't help but be in love with it because it is such a romance. Like it is, but it's, you know, sometimes borderline obsession. It is, it gets in there, and it's like the sexiest thing you can do is find like these pillars or these banisters or these wheelchairs in the hall, the peely paint, the peely porn all day. Like it is sexy. It is something to romance.
Yeah, no, the amount of peels and like decay and watching how different it is, even in parts of the same building or different buildings. Like it is definitely something that has just like an obscene amount of variety. So it's very interesting to come across.
You take the people away, like even for a year, you take people out of a building, and what happens is it just immediately starts dripping and leaking and peeling and buckling. And like, why is that? The person with people in there, they might never have had water issues. It just gets the stagnancy. And people move the air in there, and it's just crazy what happens to a building in a short time without us.
I think it's very interesting architecture-wise how buildings from I don't know what year this was built. I don't.
There's always a cornerstone.
I want to say this was like 18 somethings.
I was gonna say like probably 1867 for some reason.
That sounds like a pretty good one. We'll go with
1860, but that don't quote me.
We'll go with that one for now. It's interesting to see though how this architecture has held up so much better than more modern architecture. Like anything that was built in the 50s, 60s plus, it's dog shit. Like the wood, the quality of the construction. Like, so it's nice when I don't know structurally, but I mean, this place seems pretty damn salvageable. You know what I mean? So
I would say so. And I do think it is. And I think Buffalo is on a really cool resurgence of saving these places. Like, yes, I love to explore. And you guys are taking all my playgrounds away. But I'm so happy you are. Thank you for investing your money and your love and your time and fixing it up and seeing the potential. And this is a freaking massive project. Like, I can't imagine what it would take. I can't imagine. But I hope somebody does come in here and is like, and just can pour their love into it and make it something new.
Yeah, no, I'm never mad when I find a place that's been redone, especially redone well. I saw a lot of schoolhouses when I was on my last trip, and there was a couple that were just like, holy shit.
Oh,
like
that's gorgeous.
how much, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars did you put into restoring this perfectly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I always appreciate when the time and the effort is taken to save the history, to save the architecture, because shit that's built now is boring. I hate McMansions.
You're not wrong.
You know?
And that's like the worst part is there's the new builds. Like, how do you find love in a 90s house? Like, I mean, you kind of can, I guess, but like, it isn't as attractive.
Well, that's 100% like content driven. Like what's inside. Like I would need it to be like a full house where it looks like somebody just walked out. Like that's the only way that I'm gonna love a house that's that modern. That
same, I guess. Yeah, it is content. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but it's different here when I could just look at these protruding pillars in the wall with their, I'm assuming, hand carved, just gorgeous wood detail. I mean, the amount of hours and labor that it's just gorgeous. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, it is. I don't think we could have been in a better place on a Sunday, really.
Yeah, church on Sunday. This is kind of like my religion, so I suppose that church on Sunday, it just fits.
It's appropriate.
I drove past a church here that I thought was abandoned, but definitely was not. And I drove past on the way here, and like it's Sunday. I don't know. I drove through at like 9 a.m, and the place was a ghost town. So it's weird how that process of like finding if something is abandoned, or like until I was inside and I flicked a light switch and then the power came on and I was like, oh.
I guess not.
I still took a couple pictures.
Yeah, well, you're there. I mean, fuck it.
So,
when in Rome. But what are your favorite signs of this is not abandoned, even though it totally freaking should be?
Well, the up kid taught me the fun game, abandoned or domestic.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Which is just, that lives with me on every back road that I'm on. It is terrifying. When I remember this one house where like, it was nice older 1800s, I don't know house styles, but just nice square boxy house, a good looking house. And then there was like a obvious addition in the back, which was probably like a kitchen or pantry or something. That was caved in. So I was like, fucking jackpot. Pulling in the driveway, somebody opens the door, and I was like, the fuck? Like half of your house is falling in. Like, do you guys just not go in that room? So like it's crazy.
Domestic.
Yeah. It's crazy. I actually try to take more of my like winter time to like put together clues on places I don't know. So
Same.
Is the driveway plowed?
Right.
Another good one is there mail in the mailbox?
Yep.
So
garbage can.
Don't take the mail. Okay?
Don't take the mail.
But
no.
take a look. If there's mail in there, if it's old and wet and everything, like you're probably good to go. But if it's nice and fresh and looks like somebody checked it last week or isn't stuff full, like that's a good sign there. So I feel more dangerous about exploring at, because like I feel like if somebody was to pull a gun on me, like it would be a house. Like I don't think it would be a place like this.
I've heard some crazy stories.
Crazy local stories or more?
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I would say probably one state down is the closest. No, one up here. It was like maybe possibly a skating rink or something. I heard it was pretty hostile.
I could see that. I feel like we're like okay here. I don't think there's anything too crazy unless something gets a lot of foot traffic. But definitely, I think Pennsylvania, I've heard the most horror stories. Like out of every state, Pennsylvania is the one that I hear the most horror stories on.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's kind of scary, because what do you do in that situation? Like, just, I guess, mind your manners.
Yeah, I always
mind your manners.
As much as I like to like plead the fifth rule and be an asshole when I can, whenever I'm caught red-handed, I'm always, I'm so sorry, sir. Like, I pull out this whole other nice human being.
Customer service voice.
Yes, definitely customer service voice.
You have to. Yeah. I think you were on with Angel, and she said they're just doing their job.
Yes.
They're just doing their job. Like, I couldn't agree with that more. So, like, I don't know. I definitely try to remember they are just people doing their job.
So have you been arrested?
I have, yeah. I did.
Was it worth it?
God, no. No. No, and I'm like, it has been a repurposed building. I have to drive past it every day to work. I look at it and I'm like, you of all things.
Yep.
Stupid.
That's
stupid.
Did you like fine not customer service?
Oh yeah, no, it was a whole thing. Oh my God, it was a whole ordeal. Lawyered up. We happened to be social butterflying, so it was somebody who wasn't prepared to face the fines, because, like, let's face it, this hobby, I don't know, passion, this everything is only what you put into it. So, like, or if you get caught, it can be hefty fines.
Yeah.
So I think we ended up like paying like $200 each for our lawyer, who ponied up for all three of us, which was nice. And I had to like print a portfolio for the judge.
Like a photo portfolio?
Yeah. To prove that like we weren't like scrappy bad kids.
That's interesting.
And so the best part was it's in front of I did have a spring-assisted knife on me. They tried to give me a felony for that. It got dropped, but be careful what you explore with because it does count. It does, every tool counts. A Sharpie, they wanted to get me for graffiti. They were dicks that night.
Holy shit.
It was bad. So it was bad. They threw my camera on the hood of their car. Like, it was an awful arrest.
Right.
But when I was in front of the judge and he's leafing through the portfolio, and I was like, yeah, he's like, you took all these? And I was like, yeah, and, I'm really sorry about what happened. We'll never do it again. And he stopped and he looked at me. He's like, yes, you will. And I died. He freaking called me out. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. He's like, well, be safe and be careful. And it got dropped in entirety. Well, I think we were on ACD. But, that was it. That was it.
Yeah, so I think ACD seemed to be quite popular.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you stay out of trouble. I don't know. What was it? Oh, I don't know what the ACD. It's conditional release type.
Yeah, it's acquitted until contemplation of. God damn it! I can't look at you, boo. Hold on.
Yeah.
But anyways,
stay out of trouble for 6 months, and you're not in
6 months.
trouble. You're good.
Yeah.
So that seems pretty reasonable. I know trail cams have been creeping up more.
So, my God, I have actually been paranoid about that lately because I went to this super rural place and it was they were around and what the hell?
Yeah, so
what the hell?
That's the only time I 100% just up and bounce is the second I'm looking at the trail cam and I'm like, well, hey, you probably got a text message that knows I'm here right now.
Right, rings. Little cameras are so cheap. They're so accessible. They hook right up to your phone. It is a new
deterrent
to explorers.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with that. I don't think we're gonna have any abandoned building owners tuning in.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, never say never.
But yeah, I think trail cams are definitely something that changed the game. I got a call from the state police because my car was on a trail cam.
Wow.
And so, it was just the same, I'm a tough guy thing. And I was like, so.
Yeah.
But that's one to watch out for, especially the more rural places you get. That's the only way they have the check on them. You know what I mean? But
that's right.
Property owners terrify me. That's the only. I'm more afraid of running into a property owner than I am than a cop. There would be nothing greater than if a cop just walked up those stairs right now.
Oh yeah, here I would be like you said it earlier. Please sit down. We have some questions for you.
Right. So you know what I mean. We've got this ridiculous equipment. We've got all these cameras set up. I don't think they'd be obviously pack your shit up and get out. But I don't know. I feel like this proves we're not doing hoodlum shit.
Right,
that's part of the respect of the
hobby.
Are
you justifying these mics and cameras for your hoodlum shit?
I am absolutely justifying this cost. So, sir, we're obviously not poor.
We didn't break. We just entered. Okay, listen.
Right. Now, that would be cool. That would be my favorite thing ever if I got busted on camera and then could have them please answer me put me in handcuffs.
We're here.
Ask me some questions.
Yeah.
What's... You know what I mean? So
no, I laughed about that thought earlier this morning. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So that's it's tough to choose. I want to obviously I would love to do this in some of the more epic and risky places, but there's no way we're gonna get away with carrying all this stuff in and jumping fences and tossing crates over and So we'll experiment and keep seeing how it goes. But I definitely love being in these places to film them. It just adds a whole extra touch of I don't want to call it class, but
It's different. Then this is what it is. Why would we be in an office or in a park? This is everything to us. So let's be in it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing. Getting out and exploring and doing it. I was excited to get all my camera stuff ready and get out and go into an abandoned building.
And I feel more natural here than I would on a set or something.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So I'm doing half of them with having people outside of the area zoom in and stuff. But it's not. I don't know. It's not the same. It's not. All the pre-conversations and
the backdrops. Coming in is always fun, right? And it's you got some stuff. So I think that's part of the fun.
I was 50-50 on whether or not we were going to try to get everything through that basement window.
Oh yeah, you contemplated?
Because I know
that's hard work.
I know how beautiful this is.
Yes.
You know what I mean. So anything that's readily that we can sit inside for an hour for is probably not the best spot. To just blatantly carry all the stuff in, but we worked out pretty fine. So
yeah. Oh yeah, it was sometimes what is it, hiding in plain sight?
Yes. Oh my God. That is a huge one. I have an orange vest that I had, just like wiped my garage floor with to like give it some like make it look real. But definitely I've found like the more I try to blend it. So the first spot we went, I was there a couple of minutes early. I was casing the place and there's a guy outside smoking a cigarette. I didn't know if he was supposed to be there. He didn't know if I was supposed to be there. And he asked me, he's like, oh, so you're working on the church? And I was like, yes, absolutely. And then he started talking to me about beams and then said he knew about this other church and like, so it's like.
That's beautiful though.
Yeah. So instead of,
oh yeah.
But when I first started exploring, I would have like ran away and cried because somebody saw me.
Yeah, no, you sometimes you just got to play the game.
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely, it's a good hobby. It's a very interesting hobby to say the least. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make it like literally my full-time job. There's nothing else I want to do in this world.
Well, I think the preservation side of it is so cool. So you're going to school for that?
I am, yeah. But first it's going to be a historian for my history degree, and then I'm going to hopefully go off of there for architecture. I
mean, I don't think it's that ridiculous to be able to be like, actually say you're a historian. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, outside of that and like the architectural beauty, and I won't give away any further details about the history of this church, just for Google's sake. But like that's one I love going home and like just reading it and just finding out all the crazy stuff that I can. Like definitely just the whole history side of it is amazing and beautiful. And there's not. It's weird how many historically significant places go abandoned.
Just completely unnoticed under the radar. Yeah. It's so depressing. So I think that's very important, and I'm like totally willing to devote my life to it, to be honest. And this hobby showed me that it's like it is. I keep saying it's everything because it is our history. It is what we started as. Buffalo is the city of light. Like we were rich, we were beautiful, we had Pan Am festivals, like we had the Pan American Expo in like 1901. It was beautiful, and we only have a few buildings left from that because apparently they were built temporary, which is stupid. Because
really?
Oh my God. What is left? The History Museum, the Electric Tower. What was the last one? M&T. No, that wasn't. No, it wasn't. Oh, the Gold Dome? I don't know. I want to fact check on that. But yeah, we still have a few buildings left. It was a gorgeous festival. I mean, poverty was like 3 streets away from it. So like we were working on it. But Buffalo was super rich, and like the buildings and the houses that these bankers and architects owned are still here. Yeah.
No, there's some gorgeous ones. I definitely, there's been quite a few times when we went out exploring and just come through a random street here and I'm just like, holy shit.
Oh God, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But some are getting demolished too. Like we do have a really great preservation society here. But it's unfortunate because like sometimes it's too late and demos already is getting done. So like I think Johnny Ryan in Niagara Falls, that one killed me because it was a beautiful, like I think it was a 50s. I think that's too late. But anyways, it was like a cute little factory that could have been a beautiful little museum or something. And the poor Niagara Falls like needs all the love it can get.
Yes.
So, but instead of preserving that, they just leveled it, another empty lot in the falls. Fuck it. Like,
that is crazy to drive down a street and there's 3 houses and maybe somebody lives in one of them. Like
maybe
it is crazy. I think we can safely talk about St. Valentine's Church here.
Oh yeah, good on them but.
Is it not going well?
I think didn't they take out all the stained glass?
I don't know. I know they were repurposing the church and school.
Yeah, I think they took out all the beautiful character driving stained glass.
The glass there was 12 out of 10. That was above and beyond beautiful.
Yeah, that stained glass was stunning.
I found that one, like specifically the location of that church, to be pretty cool because it was closer to the factories and like that's so people, people where you could walk to go to church is where you went to church. So like as like history has changed and transportation has changed and these areas have shifted and evolved, I would never expected such a beautiful church in that specific area, you know what I mean, in that neighborhood. So it's curious to see how things shift and change and are keep evolving. But yeah, that one, the glass was just the purples and the blues just filling the whole place. That was oddly beautiful for the architecture.
Yeah, the architecture was so boring. Like outside, externally, you're like, nah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess all right, it's a church, so whatever, we're here. But then you get in and these color casts that are just thrown over the entire church. Not a single piece of church isn't covered by these beautiful pieces of stained glass that were like this cobalt blue and other colors. But so I don't get the owners of St. Valentine's pissed at me, just in case. I do think they were saved and put somewhere else.
I hope.
I don't, but I really hope so. Yeah, I think they took them all out.
There was enough good glass. I mean, I feel like every single window, I don't know, there was 10,
all of them.
10 on each side, all the way down. Like, so, but I guess someone's going to be a charter school or something interesting.
Yeah,
so
I did hear that.
Yeah, so I'm glad to see that things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah.
But then we have other ones like Fuck the Birds.
Oh, I know.
That one's, I know somebody that works, we have a interesting relationship. I know somebody who works in that, turning schools into apartments type thing.
Wow, that's a good friend to have in this.
Well, we're like, it took us a while to have like this cool, like,
I like that.
handshake.
You got to get the handshake.
And I was talking to him about that one, and he's like, yeah, that one's just, it's right on the teetering point of fuck it, just let it go. But it could be, but it's like that. So that's one we're probably just going to continue to see, until the town tears it down or, it just implodes. So
you're not wrong. Yeah, that building's really rough though. It would take so much money, but I mean, it is happening elsewhere, and the buildings in just as rough shape are being turned. So
yeah, no, I think that's amazing that you're going to school for it, and like you actually want to make it a thing. I think it's nice that this is becoming more of a socially acceptable hobby.
When I was in the Catskills, and I ran across such a cute girl. She was exploring, and she looked at me and she goes, "Why don't more people do this?" And I was like, "Oh, God, you're so cute." And I was like, "Because it's illegal, or they could die, and some people just don't care about these things." And she's like, "I'm hanging out with the wrong people." Well, maybe, yeah. But like, she was so cute about it, and that is one thing here is like some explorers I found were really, really friendly, and some like super not friendly. And so it's like this weird mix of like, can we just do this together? You watch my back, I'll watch yours, and like check this place out.
I feel like a lot of those super unfriendly people like fizzle out. Like they come in hard for a year and then they kind of just like trail off and die. Like you just never hear from them again.
So. I'm just kidding.
So
I love everybody for the most part. Like I've met some, like we said, really good people through it, but it was just so cute, the new gen coming in. And I mean that in the kindest way. I hope like nobody takes offense to me calling them cute. But I love the curiosity.
Yeah, it's definitely, I've only been doing this heavy for 6 years now. And like the dynamic and the dynamic of it has changed so much over that time frame. So I can't imagine if you've been doing this a lot for 10 or 13 years. I mean, I can't imagine, you know what I mean? So
some changes.
I love that you take the pictures to help catalog and like memorize places, because there's definitely whole explorers that have started to just slip my mind after.
It happens.
Yeah.
It just happens. Like my boot and I were chatting, and I think 11 buildings in one night, like one day to night. And I was like, we slammed through it, and some were just not that important, just checking off the list. But it was like, oh my God, and I can't remember a single one of them.
Yeah, I
go back to my photos.
I can definitely relate to that. I like those trips where you get a lot in, but then sometimes it's overwhelming, or you didn't stop and appreciate the details.
You're just shooting and going and shooting and going. It was nuts, but it was about to explore for us back then too. It was a lot like just get in, check it out, not even document properly. Like
right, which is respectable. I think that's a big deal. It's like actually enjoying the places, but it's nice when you get in that banger weekend and just.
It's just fun. It's fun. Yeah, I love the explore. I love just checking it out, seeing how to get in, and just hanging out in these beautiful things that you get to do things you never get to do in real life.
I love that.
Never.
I absolutely love that you mentioned real life.
Yeah.
But you know what? So our first Explore to Wonder Bread, that POE through so that was only like my first I wasn't even exploring a year at that point.
Oh, PPP.
So
really?
Yeah, I was still pretty fresh.
You did good.
So crawling in through that I don't even know how to it was on the.
Is that Fanic sauce?
Yeah, it was.
Sasha?
Yeah, it was through a furnace or and then it was such a hard. It was a weird you had to go in between a first floor and a second floor to get in, and it was ridiculous. So I remember the moment when I got out and I looked that I just went through a heating shaft to get to this building. I was like, that's fucking exploring.
That's exploring.
So
yeah, that's by far one of my favorite POEs to date. I'm so happy you mentioned it. It was so fun. It was so fun.
Definitely done some ridiculous things to get into buildings, or just running my face off and hoping, dear God, nobody saw me hop that fence.
Oh God, please! I've got negative seconds to do this.
Yeah. There's nobody coming right now. Or let's wait for this traffic to go and pull hard on this door.
Right.
So.
That's one of my favorites. Was we were in the falls, and there was this building, and it just the board really wanted to come off. It was right there, and just so happened there was a domestic argument going on that street, and she just started screaming bloody murder. Like it was not like a assault and battery, because I probably would have called somebody, but they were just arguing. And so my boot waited for the perfect time, and she was like, "Fuck you!" And like just in her scream, the board. Yep. It was like time perfect. So
that was pretty epic.
It was pretty great.
I like that.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about the timing.
Well, I'm not opposed to. I usually, if I'm pulling off a board, I like to go at night.
Yeah.
And then let myself in the morning.
Yeah.
So just so that way, because like you said, they'll get you for everything. So
anything. Yeah.
I only try to break one rule at a time. You know what I mean?
Smart.
So like that way.
We have a local radio station here that's like, if you're gonna, you don't. I'm not saying like don't smoke weed. I'm just saying don't put it on your dash and do like 90 and no seatbelt.
Right. Break one rule at a time.
Yeah,
it's so much easier to get out of trouble when you only break one rule at a time. So
yeah, it's so true. So yeah, no, that's a smart idea though. And that's a lot of things too, like kind of setting yourself up. Recon has been more of a thing. Like before I would just like, let's go boot, let's get in. I want this one. And we would go. But now it's like, okay, well, let's street map where are we going to park? What time of day would be the best to do this? Is it active? We'll check it out. So it is like, there's homework involved now. And I mean, I guess that's growing up with it, but
no, I think that's a big point. Calculated risks. You know what I mean? Like that's like a huge section. We could do a whole section on that. So I know you mentioned exploring on Memorial Day with the Upkid. Like busy days, holidays, 4th of July when cops are busy dealing with shit. Yeah, those are great days to go out and do something that's a little bit more risky, or there's just not going to be as many people around. So no, I definitely think calculated risks is a huge part of the hobby. So
it is really everything. I mean, even for the floors we step on. I mean, I remember actually I was in your neck of the woods and I was in a religious structure and I was going to go up the one staircase and I looked at it from the frickin' ground.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I looked at it and I was like, it looks a little shifty. I'll just stay close to the wall. And, and so I'm like, I start going up and all of a sudden the whole staircase shifts like 2 away from the wall. And I like jutted my hip and the staircase went back to the wall and I just stepped back down it. And that's like, I've been very thankful that's like really been my only good floor shift. I've had some movement you could feel, but.
Well, you know what? I was in bumfuck. I don't even know. New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And it was a spot that the Upkid had previously went. And he's like, make sure you check out the 3rd floor. The stairs are sketchy, but they're fine. Those were his words.
Oh no.
I took him at his words. Those stairs were not fine. There was 3 maybe total stairs left, and there was a door to go into just this middle stair, and then there was 2 top stairs. So like it was already a sketch fucking ville, but he said it was fine, and I trust him. Apparently he went like 2 years prior. So I go up, and the top 2 stairs go out from underneath me. I've got scars on my shins. So like I'm grabbing the wall. Dear God, I was like, fuck. So I was like, you know what, fine. I'm going to take these photos. And then after I'm done wandering around, the fear starts to set in when I realized there was only one staircase and I had to go back down the stairs. So all that's left is, it was like a half, like a stairs, platform, and then stairs. So all that was left in that first half is one single stair that the door was on. So for this part that was missing, there was like molding on so I'm like Spider-Maning my way down. I'm not touching, you know what I mean, anything that's left there. It was absolutely terrifying. So that was one where like I sent a pin. I was like, hey, if you don't hear from me in 5 minutes, just call 911.
Yeah, that's for real though.
So I've been a lot more careful and cautious. Definitely since that day, like some of my solo explorers, I try to pull back that risk just a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's not worth dying over.
Well, his name is up for a reason. He always got to go up. So he'll get up, but nobody else can.
Yeah. So come to find out, there's an emergency fire escape somewhere outside that I didn't locate. So it's still accessible. But I was terrified.
I love when that happens. On a Friday the 13th, I went to hop a fence. And I was, for some reason, it was to capture Melody Fair before they demolished it, which was a huge concert venue in Niagara Falls with a 360-degree stage. It was a really cool place. Like everybody played there. And they were definitely tearing it down for a Walmart. So I wanted to capture it. So I hop over the fence. I rip jeans, which was the last day I could capture it. So I was wearing my favorite jeans for no freaking reason. And I get over, I'm swearing, and I look, and right to me is the fucking hole in the fence. That was taller than I was, and totally just, you walk through the thing. But I was so like, okay, fence up, over, and like,
So, that happens to me all the time because, like, why would you check the front door to places?
Oh, you got to.
Did a little bit of a ridiculous entry into one of the hostels we were chit-chatting about earlier.
Yeah.
And, I went in at pre-dawn, did this, that, and the other. And then, like, on my way out, I was like, let me just check this. It just opened right up. And I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's
my first and foremost check, I think. I'm like, come on, mama, open up.
It is. Sometimes it feels too good to be true.
Yes.
Like, is it a trap?
Yeah, is it a trap? Yeah. But no, I've been pretty lucky on a lot of places. And I think it's so much fun just trying to find a POE and
yeah, no, that's half the hobby.
So
like,
fun.
so for like people to ask, where is this? Like, that's why you don't get an answer because like that is part of the hustle. So
urban exploration.
Right. I just one final question for you before we go. Cause some people are like weird about the short terms. Do we like the terms urbex or bando? Like what's,
I don't know.
You're an OG, so I feel like I have to ask.
So we actually, when we first started, we tried to come up with names because we couldn't, Urbex, what is that website that all the OGs are on?
UER?
UER. So we didn't really discover UER because we didn't know what it was called. So we came up with some weird ass names and we tried to label it. So when we found out there's already a label for it, we kind of respected it.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid, urban exploration, but it is what it is. Urbex.
Well, I think
abandonment.
I feel like urban exploration covers a broader range for those people that like to do like what?
I guess it's like the more like, I don't know.
Well, I feel like
respectful term for
people
it,
that do like rooftops and like subways and things. I feel like
it's urban.
Yeah, I feel like that covers urban exploration. Makes me feel like those people, and I feel like urbex is like our people. Yeah, I feel like I kind of feel like that's how the phrasing is going.
You can't help but love to hate it. It's one of those words, and you're always using it. Let's go to some bandos, get some freshies, fam. Like you can't help.
You just use the word bandos, which I originally hated, but then I was like, well, they are bandos.
They are bandos.
It is what it is.
And it is kind of catchy. You removed a few letters and you made it work. Okay, I don't know who started that, but I dig it-ish. I just don't like to use it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it as you just use it in a sentence.
Yes,
so.
Bud. Yeah, well.
All right, well, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. I'm definitely going to have you back on. I mean, I can't just imagine the plethora of information and stories. So I feel like at some point, like I want to like dig through all these and start putting all these things on like pro tip. Actually put them together because like, I don't know, there should be like a pretty like legit guide of like getting out there and doing it safely, but we'll see how this interacts, especially with those new people or people who don't explore. I've been keeping a careful watch on anywhere that I've been filming and posting a little more details on or casually chit-chatting about, and we'll see how it works out, and then just keep kind of adjusting our course from there. So I
think that's wonderful, and I can't thank you enough for having me. This is so wonderful, just such a beautiful Sunday.
No, it was a great time to catch up. And like I said, I don't know that we've I don't know like the last time we spoke together. Is this our second
explore? This is our second explore.
I feel like that's so.
That's so just. I love it.
But we kept in touch with the Upkid and whatnot. So
yeah,
we're gonna get him on. I think I should do him and Exonerate Me separately.
I agree.
Because there are just so many stories. So.
Oh my God. Well, I know Exonerate Me is NP, but I know NP is like screaming right now because he's like, I've got so many stories.
Well, I
can hear him.
Well, that's I just feel like I should just nab them both at the cabin. The cabin's just a big popular thing this year. So every year. So I don't know. We'll see. A little bit more free time coming up. So
I think it'll be fun and they'll be happy too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, everybody, if you didn't write it down in the beginning or go follow it now that we're here at the end, it's Asbestos Gypsy on Instagram, and then Abandon16. Check out the group on Facebook. Definitely will not be disappointed with just the variety, the content. I love seeing the random updates and explores from everybody. So,
thank you so much. Thanks for following.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I will wrap it up with you now, and I will catch up with you guys next week. Where we've got Patrick joining us. He's a little bit of a film guy, so we'll be chit-chatting about that. So, thanks everybody for joining, and I will talk to you soon.
Bye.